Imagine living in a world where your own father, brother, or son could be your deadliest enemy. Welcome to the world of the Ottoman sultans. We're about to delve into the harsh law that allowed these rulers to kill their sons and brothers, all in a bid to maintain power. This law, chilling as it may seem, was a common practice amongst the sultans. It was a brutal strategy to eliminate any potential threats to the throne. The very people who should have been the closest allies, fathers, sons, brothers, were often the most dangerous adversaries. The method of execution: suffocation with a white silk thread. This method was used regardless of the victim's age, even if they were mere infants. Fathers killed their children and grandchildren to remain in power, mothers killed their sons to regain control, and brothers took the initiative to kill their siblings to secure their own rule. The implications of this law were far-reaching. It was so widely used that it threatened the survival of the Ottoman lineage itself. There were times when the Ottoman Empire faced a crisis due to the lack of princes to assume power. The law, designed to secure the throne, ironically threatened the very continuity of the Ottoman family. This law gave the Sultan the right to kill his brother, son, or grandson to preserve the rule from any threat, and to maintain the cohesion of the state. The death sentence was issued by a fatwa from the Sheikh of Islam on the orders of the new Sultan. So what was life like in the heart of the Ottoman Empire? It was a world where trust was scarce and power was the ultimate prize. A world where the throne was often won over the bodies of family members, under the guise of preserving the state. As harsh as it may seem, this law was a reality for many of the Ottoman sultans. The story begins with Sultan Murad I, who is credited as the founder of this harsh law. His reign, though eventful, was marred by a dark tradition that would echo through the halls of the Ottoman Empire for centuries. Sultan Murad I, the grandfather of Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror, found himself in a precarious situation when whispers reached his ears that his brother Mahmud harbored ambitions to usurp his throne. Determined to safeguard his rule, Murad sought a religious sanction, a fatwa, from the Sheikh of Islam, granting him the moral right to eliminate this threat. The execution was swift and unceremonious. Under the cloak of darkness, executioners strangled Mahmud in his sleep using a thin silk thread, a method that would become symbolic of this cruel law. But the shadow of suspicion didn't stop at his brother. Rumors surfaced, fueled by deceptive courtiers, that his son, Prince Saouji, was conspiring with the empire's enemies, the Byzantines. Unable to ignore such a potential betrayal, Murad orchestrated a trap that led to his son's capture. Once again, he sought a fatwa to justify his actions. The prince was executed and the precedent was set. The chilling concept of fratricide and filicide to preserve power was now ingrained in the empire's traditions. Murad I's actions were driven by a desire to protect his reign and maintain the empire's stability. But in doing so, he established a brutal law that would haunt future generations of Ottoman royals. His actions were a stark reminder that the throne was a dangerous place, where brothers, sons, and grandsons could be viewed as threats rather than family. Murad I's actions set a chilling precedent for the future of the Ottoman Empire. The throne was now a seat of power precariously balanced on a web of suspicion, betrayal, and death. A place where family bonds held no weight against the lure of power and the survival of the empire. Next, we have Mehmed the Conqueror, a sultan known for his conquests and his enactment of the law that allowed the killing of infant princes. The sultan's fame came not only from his military prowess, but also from his rule of law. Mehmed the Conqueror, so named for his successful siege of Constantinople, was a man of ambition and determination. He was also a man who knew the importance of securing his throne. In the midst of his reign, the sultan faced a potential threat from within his own family. His infant brother, Prince Ahmed, born to his stepmother Khadija Khatun, was seen as a potential pawn in the hands of Byzantine enemies. A handful of ministers and pashas, fearing a power struggle, advised Mehmed to eliminate this risk. And so, he did. At a tender age of 6 months, Prince Ahmed was suffocated with a white silk thread, a fate that was becoming all too common amongst the Ottoman princes. This act was not just a single incident of fratricide, but also the enactment of a law that sanctioned the murder of brothers and sons under the guise of protecting the throne. The law was chillingly named the Oppressor. It was designed to safeguard the sultan's rule from internal threats, to protect the heart of a ruler burdened with the responsibility of upholding Islam, and to shield him from potential enemies. It was a law that prioritized power over family, throne over blood ties. The death of an innocent infant prince, the enactment of a drastic law, and the steady reign of Mehmed the Conqueror all point to a time when power was maintained at any cost. A time when being a brother or a son to a sultan was a dangerous position to hold. Mehmed the Conqueror's reign further entrenched this brutal law into the fabric of the Ottoman Empire. His actions and decisions echo through history, highlighting the harsh realities of royal life during the Ottoman rule. Then comes Selim I, a sultan notorious for his violent accession to the throne. Selim I, often remembered as the Grim, is another stark example of the harsh rules in the Ottoman Empire. His path to the throne was anything but peaceful, as it involved the eradication of his own flesh and blood. In his quest for power, Selim I eliminated his two brothers, Princes Korkut and Ahmed. His ascension was steeped in violence and betrayal, with his brothers being the victims of his ruthless ambition. Prince Ahmed in fact was the crown prince, the rightful heir to the throne, yet the lure of power can make one overlook even the most sacred of ties. Selim I was no exception. His determination to seize the throne was unwavering, and he was willing to resort to any means necessary. The role of the powerful pashas and janissaries in Selim's rise to power is a chilling testament to the political machinations of the time. These influential factions were lured by Selim's promise of power and influence, and they threw their weight behind him, aiding him in his quest for the throne. With their support, Selim was able to eliminate his brothers and ascend the throne unopposed. His brothers, each desperate to secure the throne for themselves, had allied with different factions. Prince Korkut had joined forces with the Safavids, while Prince Ahmed had the support of some provincial governors. Yet, their alliances proved futile in the face of Selim's ruthless determination, and the support he had garnered from the pashas and janissaries. Selim I's reign began and ended in violence. His brutal rise to power was a grim reminder of the harsh reality of the Ottoman throne. The law of fratricide, a cruel and unforgiving tradition, was cemented during his reign. The throne was a prize to be won at any cost, even if it meant the lives of one's own brothers. Selim's violent rise to power cemented the law of fratricide as a cruel reality of the Ottoman throne. The harsh law of fratricide was a grim reality for the Ottoman sultans. As we've journeyed through the annals of history, we've explored the harsh laws that governed the succession of the Ottoman sultans. The merciless enactment of these laws saw many a prince strangled with a white silk thread, all in a bid to maintain the sultan's unchallenged rule. We began with Sultan Murad I, the originator of this dark tradition. His paranoia and thirst for power led to the death of his own brother Mahmud, and later his son, Sauji. Both were strangled in their sleep, victims of the sultan's fear of losing his throne. Next we turned our attention to Mehmed the Conqueror, a ruler known for his strategic brilliance and ruthless ambition. He took the grim law a step further, enacting the murder of his infant half-brother, Prince Ahmed. This was a chilling act, driven by the advice of ministers who feared the infant could be used as a puppet by the Byzantines to overthrow Mehmed. Our journey concluded with the tale of Sultan Selim I, a ruler whose violent nature saw the execution of his own brothers to secure his succession. His thirst for power was so great that he even plotted to kill his son, the future Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, a plot that was fortunately thwarted. These stories shed light on the lengths rulers would go to preserve their power. The law of fratricide, while grim and brutal, served a purpose in the eyes of the sultans, to maintain the stability and cohesion of the empire at any cost. Yet, it also highlighted the precarious nature of power, the constant threat of betrayal, and the ruthless measures rulers would take to secure their throne. The Ottoman Sultan's harsh laws of power serve as a chilling reminder of the lengths some rulers will go to maintain their throne.